Hey, good morning, John. Hope things are going well. Donna, how are you? Good to see you. Jamie, in the house, everybody. Hello, hello. Cecile, good to see you this morning. I am glad you are well. Hey, Derek. Boomed on our power line, so I got to dip out for. I that yes, you should do that. Don't come. You can come back here anytime. Totally. So, say, but hi to you. Thanks for popping in. Good morning, Vicky. Glad you're here. Looking forward. You're down at, what is it, 8 days now? So very good till you head to the Dominican. That is great news. Good morning, Sherry lad. How are you? Hope hope you're well, enjoying your summer. Donna doing dishes. Dishes done. Good, excellent. Chop wood, carry water. It is the path to happiness for sure. Kristen Kentaro, everybody. Hi, Kristen. How are you? I hope you're doing well. Doing good. You're getting everything done. That is great. I'm sure there's a million things to do before you strike off on a trip like that. And yeah. And big news today about that part of the world in not the Dominican, but at the other side of the island in Haiti. The the president was just assassinated in Haiti, and we have many ministry partners there. If you don't know, we have Wilbins Maginay who is with us, and uh, um, who is pastoring a church there, and Chris Serber and his work of the Church of Naples. There are many partners that we're part of that are ministering to the folks in Haiti, and it is an unsettled time right now. I talked to Wilbins just the other day, and gasoline is about $12. It's about $12 for a gallon of gas that you can only buy on the market. So pray for the people of Haiti today, as you're about your day, and note the blessings of where we live. Headed to the Monswick Flea Market. Oh yeah, dog. That's awesome. It is high. It is high season there right now. Good morning, everybody. Glad you're making your way here. All right, let's get going this morning. It is this Wednesday, the 7th day of July. We are down the first week of July. Hey, Bonnie Braggett, glad you're here. Hope you're doing well. Great to see your smiling face yesterday. That Yes, praying for peace for the Haitians for sure. We should all pray for that. Indeed. Um, so it is the seventh day of January. Seventh day. Who am I? Where are you? What are you people? It is the well. This is what you get. This is what you get live, friends. It is this Wednesday, the seventh day of July, at 11:11, and I am so glad that each one of you are here and a part of this journey. Whether you are with us live right now or whether you are on the journey with us later today, welcome. And I hope that you have a blessing this day, and I hope it is good and beautiful and right. I want to spend a little time with Paul today. This is something I've been thinking about, and it seems to be showing up more and more in these days. So this is from Paul's second letter to the church in Corinth. Now, the church in Corinth, in order to understand some of this, the church in Corinth is perhaps the most cantankerous of all the churches that Paul is a part of. He visits there. He sends them a letter. He visits there once. He helps establish the church, and yet, and there, but there. the church in Corinth is constantly at war. Because they've got all these different leaders, that they've got all these different people that they follow, and none of them. Well, it doesn't seem. I don't want to say none of them, but they have a like Paul is not maybe the most popular there. Now Paul's very used to not being popular. I mean, heck, he's beaten to death one time. Like, there's plenty. He's plenty accustomed to being not popular where he goes. But there is this way that he's seen it as just this destructive to the body of the church, and so he sends this second letter to them, and he sends this from. No, their scholars aren't quite sure, but it's someplace out in Asia, like Philippi or Thessaloniki or in Greece. So that and now in both of these churches, much more friendly to Paul. Like they're kind of much more happy places. So he's sending this and trying to get this group of people to hold together, because he really sees them as beginning to fray apart from all the reports that he gets and from his visit with them and from the correspondence he gets. And so this letter it's not so much an admonishment, but it is an encouragement of trying to get them to be a part of the journey with each other. So this is from the 12th chapter of the second letter to the church in Corinth. So, by the way, this is from the Message translation. I like the Message translation sometimes because I think it allows us to hear the text in a different way and hear Paul in a different way. So this is a very modern translation, and so hear these words. And think about this, that this being a part of this community that is frayed and cantankerous and fighting over different chiefs and bosses. I know maybe that it's such a ridiculous, I mean, who would ever live in a society like that, right? Here's Paul. But I also want you to think about how it keeps your significance from getting blown up into self-importance. For no matter how significant you are, it is only because of what you are a part of. An enormous eye or a gigantic hand wouldn't be a body, but a monster. What we have is one body with many parts. Each is proper size and in its proper place. No part is important on its own. Can you imagine an eye telling a hand, "Get lost, I don't need you"? Or a head telling a foot, "You're fired. Your job has been phased out"? As a matter of fact, in practice, it works the other way. The lower part, the more basic, is the more necessary. You can live without an eye, for instance, but can you live without a stomach? When it's part of your own body, you are concerned with it. And it makes no difference whether the part is visible or clothed or higher or lower. You give it dignity and honor just as it is, without comparisons. If anything, you have more concern for the lower parts than the higher. If you had to choose, wouldn't you prefer good digestion over full-bodied hair? The way God designed our bodies is a model of understanding our lives together as a church. Every part dependent on every other part. The parts we mention and the parts we don't. The parts we see and the parts we don't. If one part hurts, every other part is involved in the hurt and in the healing. If one part flourishes, every other part enters into the exuberance. You are Christ's body. That's who you are. You must never forget this. Oh, so good. So good! I mean, I could just stop talking there to just read that and go home. Like that. But of course, that's not what I'll do. But hear this. We are important. We matter. We have significance. All of it is because of what we are a part of. we Americans, we're awesome, and we have a lot of awesome things. We're kind of, the July is kind of awesome American month. We kick off with Fourth of July. This is not a criticism of being or culture or anything like that. And we have this image of rugged individualism, and I believe in it. I actually think individualism is great. I actually think what has been said once, that what Jesus's victory is the victory of the ethical over the tribal. I think it's actually the tribal that has, we tend to romanticize the tribal in a way, just in the same way we romanticize rugged individualism. But the thing about the tribal is the tribal will force every one of us into a little a hidey hole, into a way of being, into a way of functioning. Now, that's not necessarily bad. We need that grounding and we need that thing, because there are things that we need to be a part of. And there are things but we also need to individuate. We are not called to be another person and another thing in another way. We are called to be ourselves and truly who we are as a part of the whole and the being and the good. And that both of these things exist at the same time. But one of the things that's in crisis, I think, right now, and one of the things that we've been coming up against, and I think it's the thing that Paul is trying to talk to his church in Corinth, is this notion of just what we are a part of. I invite you to spend some time today thinking about, what are you a part of? What is it that is not just you and your peccadillos and predilections? What is it that's yours, that is not only yours and yours alone, but that is magnified because you are a part of something? This is the core of what it is to be church. This is at the core of what we're talking about when we talk about church. But we are a part of so many other things other than simply church. We are a part of families. We are a part of workplaces. We're a part of bowling leagues. We are a part of any manner of human community. I came across this statistic. This is from a book called In Search of the Common Good, and I want to share it with you, because this strike. If this doesn't strike after reading what Paul's admonition to his church, after kind of laying this groundwork of his demand that we say, you are Christ's body. That's who you are. You must never forget this. And you are important because of what you are in part of. Not because you're just you, not because you're a bright shiny boy or girl, not because you have all that you're the special one, but because you are a part of that. And you bring fantastic things. I could not be without, to be without a right hand would be a horrible thing. To be without our parts would be a horrible thing. But hear this quote from the book, In Search of the Common Good. I want you to hear this in light of what we're talking about. 47% of Americans say they do not have meaningful, in-person social interactions, such as an extended conversation with a friend or quality time with family on a daily basis. The scary thing, says Jake Meter, the author of this book, the scary thing is that the emerging the emerging generation, Generation Z, is the loneliest generation of them all. Hear that in light of Paul's admonition that you are Christ's body. And you must never forget this, that you are significant, and it is because of what you are a part of. And that 47% of Americans right now have no meaningful relationship on a day-to-day basis of which they are a part. If that does not chill you, if that does not scare you, if that does not concern you, if that does not immediately bring you into reflection with your own life and your own being, and your own questioning of what is it that I am a part, because you are parts, friends, and you're better than just parts. You're not just a widget, because this is not how human beings work. Human beings are not widgets. We are nodes. We are nodes of connection. The internet has actually the structure of the internet actually has begun to mirror human structure in some ways. Well, why wouldn't it? It was built by humans and actually which who are built by God, and so it's kind of taking on this divine structure that is set up through us. Of course it would. And so what you find out is that websites or social media or and any particular sites aren't just places that people visit in terms to get content, but they are nodes of connection. Just like you're a node of connection, you will go out and you'll talk to people today. You'll create, and that though one node cuts to another node, and that you'll have these concentric rings and circles and ways in which you connect with people that are not just these one-to-one relationships, but they are exponential relationships in the way that they touch the world. This is the whole 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon thing. If you've never heard about that, it's worth the Google. It's really hilarious. And if you have, then you're just dating yourself. So, and if you think all this stuff is just like, oh, we just need another friend, no, that's quite not it. I mean, we all do need another friend. We all need someone to have a meaningful social interaction with. Those 47% of Americans that are not having that, but it transcends that so much more, because at the very heart of this, it's our most vulnerable place. And it's our most vulnerable place. I've said this before, but it's worth repeating. Is that when we look at the creation story of Genesis goes on, again and again and again. God created the heavens and the earth, and saw at the end of the first day it was good. God, all the creatures of the earth, and saw at the end of the day it was good. The word for good is tov. It was good. It was tov, that the creation. And then God looks at the creation and says, "Lo, it is lo tov. It is not good." The first and only, not good in all of creation. The first and most vulnerable place in which you and I, our created selves, are undermined to be drawn into the depths of hell, is this lo tov moment, which, what is it that he says is lo tov? It is not good. It is lo tov that man should be alone. It is lo tov that we should not be a part of something, that we should not be apart, that we should not be connected to something larger than ourselves, to which is ultimately in its seminal place there, the very body of Christ, in which Paul comes to talk about thousands of years later. The lo tov is that of loneliness. The lo tov is that of being alone, and not just the experience of loneliness, not just like, oh, I wish I had somebody here. It's not that. It is our disconnectedness, our dismemberedment, that we are no longer members of things, that we are no longer connected like our finger is connected to our hand, that we are no longer a part of this, that we don't have something in which we are a part of. Paul's words, no matter how significant you are, it is only because you are a part of. He speaks of the body of Christ, but it's true of every single thing in this world. Daniel Schoen wrote a book based on the letters between Bill W., who begins and creates the 12 steps, of Alcoholics Anonymous and Carl Jung. They have this little correspondence. It's not much of a correspondence, but they have this conversation of letters that goes back and forth, and he draws on some of their being and some of their time. And there's this phrase that comes out of it, which I just find is just delicious. That where he speaks of, that and he said the problem of his day. Now again, this is 1950s, all right? This is 70 years ago. The problem of the day, and I think it has only gotten more so in modernity, is the protective wall of human community, and the loss of the protective wall of the human community. And that Daniel Schoen goes on to say that it is the evil principle that leads unrecognized need into perdition without the protective wall of human community. We wonder why people fall into addiction. Is it because the substances are just so awesome? No, friends. It is because they are not a part. I want to ask you today, what are you a part of? What are you a part of? You're a part of and begin to take stock of these things. Begin to treasure them. Begin to honor them. This is our core function as church. That we are invitation to that which you would be a part of, that you would come and be a part of the body of Christ. We as congregational Christians, we say, we are a part of the pilgrims who follow in the way of Jesus the Christ. It is ours to walk with each other as the body of Christ, as the hands and feet of God in this world, to walk out what it means to follow this Jesus guy and the path that he has laid down for us. And that we do that, we are a part of that body. Without it, we lose everything. Without it, we lose our very souls. Because even our ability to tell story, even our ability to understand story, is grounded in our ability to do it with each other. You ever tell a story to yourself? You ever tell your story to yourself? Now, I'm sure you do to a certain degree. But what makes our story significant? What makes our lives significant? What makes the things that we have done and the places that we've gone and the things that we've seen matter is the fact that we share them and that we are a part of the wider body in which we journey. Friends, I want to invite you to take stock of what it is that you're a part of today. Think about what you're a part of. Think about that, and think about the parts that you're a part of in which might be hurting, and on the other parts in which they might be flourishing, and other places in which you might find yourself a part of that 47% of Americans that say they do not have meaningful in-person social interactions on a daily basis. Wherever you find yourself in that, it's my hope you will take appreciation and let yourself be a part. Because that's kind of the little poison pill of our rugged individualism, that our shadowed stature at the door, that we seem never quite able to enter the room and find ourselves lost in an isolation and wasteland. One of the biggest shootings in American history that was probably the most famous was the Columbine shooting. Dylan Klebold and his compatriot that went in and shot up the Columbine High School. There's the book that was written on that, and I just will tell you the book that was written on that. Began to give its that I think says everything about what we've been talking about, and that what is that danger? What is it? What is in danger if we choose not to embrace the things of which we are part of, and tend to its hurt, and rejoice in its flourishing, but to be a part of the very communities and the lives and the things which surround us. The name of the book, the author who investigated the whole thing and wrote one of the more famous accounts of what had happened to those two boys, was simply this: bowling alone. Bowling alone. When we let us not bowl alone, friends. Let us not journey alone. In this community that we've had, in this community that we've been a part of, in this journey that you and I have been on this whole time, it is my very hope that you have not been alone, that you have known that you're a part of this. As I see each one of your little digital faces over there in your little profiles, since I take encouragement and joy. I think of the stories and the joys that we share together, both as church and as friends and as people and as parts. I think of the times of which connect us. I think of the times that in which we will once again see face to face and rejoice with each other. I think of all the things of which you and I are a part as you hear my voice right now. And then maybe if you and I have never met, you are still a part of this 11:11 journey. And it is my hope you are a part of this church community or your church community somewhere, that you're a part of a bowling league, or you're a part of a pinochle club, or you're a part of a bridge group, or you're a part of a skydiving group, or you're a part of a group of people, you're a part of a PTA, or you're a part of a Odd Fellows, or but that you are a part. Because friends, it's Paul's words. You are Christ's body. That's who you are. And you must never forget this. That as a part of that, you are sacred in all the things that you do. All right, friends, that's my hope for you today. And that's I hope you find this this journey encouraging, and it is a joy for me to be a part of this with you. I offer you peace and grace, and we will pick it up tomorrow at another 11:11. Oh, hey, gang. All kinds of people came in. I'll say hi to you before real quick. Hi, Sharon. Hi, Yvette. Hi, Wayne. Hi, Bob. God, great to see you. Glad you're here. Audrey, good to see you. Donna, have a great day. All right, everybody, pray for Haiti. Pray for all those in hurting. Peace and grace to you all. We will pick it up tomorrow. Peace and grace.